Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Black Sheep Tribune podcast. My name is Teague, and I am your host, and here I talk about true crime stories that you may have never heard of because everyone's story matters. Before I get into the main focus of today's episode, I just want to say, like I've said on all my other episodes, I hope that everyone is doing okay out there and staying safe to the best of their abilities. Please wear a mask. Please stay away from people to the best of your ability. Social distance, everything like that. I think I've said in every single episode that it's a difficult time for everyone, and I hope everyone's doing okay, but it is a difficult time for everyone, and I do truly mean that I hope everyone's doing all right out there. I also want to say that I'm sorry that I've been gone for a while. It wasn't really my intention to take a long break from the podcast or anything like that. And I'll get into kind of what was going on and why I took a break for so long in the next episode, because I want this episode to just be mainly focused on Black people who have lost their lives due to police brutality. I originally planned to have this episode out a little bit after George Floyd was murdered and what I call the reboot of the Black Lives Matter movement took off. But I actually think it's even more important that I do it now, just because there was already so much noise surrounding the movement at that time. I feel like a lot of people heard about it, and now it's starting to die down. And I'm honestly really sad to see that happen. I mean, obviously, certain organizations and certain people are still really pushing the movement forward, but it's not getting as much attention as it was around the time that George Floyd was murdered. So I think it's more important that I go ahead and do this now, actually, instead of when I originally planned to. And I honestly just didn't feel right coming back and talking about a true crime story without just taking a moment of solidarity for these people who have lost their lives due to police brutality. That being said, I won't be getting into every case with detail, just because that would take a very long time. I'm just going to be reading the names of these victims who have been murdered by police. And the main reason for that is, like I said, it would be very long. The list of names that I have typed out here, single spaced, is already like 3.5 pages by itself. Just the names. So going into every case individually with detail would take that would be a whole podcast. That would be a whole podcast of its own. But anyway, before I actually get into reading the names, I do want to say that if I mispronounce any of these names, I am very sorry. That is not my intention. I am doing my best with them. But with how many names there are on this list, I feel like I'm very likely to mispronounce one. So if I do, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be disrespectful in any way. I also want to say that this is just a list of names that we know about. There very likely could be more names that belong on this list. So, let's go ahead and get into it. Eric Gardner, John Crawford III, Michael Brown, Ezell Ford, Dante Parker, Michelle Cusseau, Laquan McDonald, George Mann, Tanisha Anderson, Akai Gurley, Tamir Rice, Rumaine Brisbane, Jermaine Reed, Matthew Ajibade, Frank Smart, Natasha McKenna, Tony Robison, Anthony Hill, Maya Hall, Philip White, Eric Harris, Walter Scott, William Chapman III, Alexa Christian, Brendan Glenn, Victor Manuel LaRosa, Jonathan Sanders, Freddie Blue, Salvado Ellswood, Sandra Bland, Albert Joseph David, Darius Stewart, Billy Ray Davis, Samuel DuBose, Michael Sabbie, Brian Keith Day, Christian Taylor, Troy Robison, Assams Pharaoh Manley, Felix Kumi, Keith Harrison McLeod, Junior Prosper, Lamontez Jones, Patterson Brown, Dominic Hutchinson, Anthony Ashford, Alonzo Smith, Tyree Crawford, India Kager, Levante Biggs, Michael Lee Marshall, Jamar Clark, Richard Perkins, Nathaniel Harris Pickett, Benny Lee Tignor, Miguel Espinal, Michael Noel, Kevin Matthews, Betty Jones, Quintonio Legrier, Keith Childress Jr., Janet Wilson, Randy Nelson, Antroni Scott, Wendell Celestine, David Joseph, Kaylin Roquaymore, Daishawn Perkins, Christopher Davis, Marco Loud, Peter Gaines, Tori Robison, Darius Robison, Kevin Hicks, Mary Truxillo, DeMarcus Seamer, Willie Tillman, Terrell Thomas, Slaville Smith, Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, Terrence Crutcher, Paul O'Neill, Alteria Woods, Jordan Edwards, Aaron Bailey, Rennell Foster, Stephon Clark, Antoine Rose III, Botham Jean, Pamela Turner, Dominique Clayton, Tatiana Jefferson, Christopher Whitfield, Christopher McCorvey, Eric Reason, Michael Lorenzo Dean, Breonna Taylor, Elijah McClain, George Floyd. Okay, so that is all that I have for today's episode. I do just want to let you guys know that for my next episode, I'm going to be talking about 2 protesters and a civilian who were hurt or killed by police, or because of an incident that they had with the police while they were protesting, or just near a protest in one case. A lot of times I like to cover cases that don't make big headlines and aren't covered by like big mainstream media sources. I wouldn't say that's the case with these cases coming on the next episode. A few of them I would say you probably have seen headlines about, but I still felt the need to cover them just because I saw a headline about them in the beginning when the incidents first happened, and then the stories died down, and so I thought it would be interesting to kind of go back and look and try to figure out what actually happened with these cases. So tune in for that. That will be coming out soon. In the meantime, you can find me on Facebook or on Instagram if you want to keep up with what my next posts are going to be or when they're going to be coming out, or just keep up with any little updates from me on the podcast and everything. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I know it's probably wasn't very exciting just to sit there and listen to me read names, but I do think that it was important for us to take a moment again in solidarity for these people, because like I said, I feel like I don't want to say excitement, but the energy that was once around the movement, I feel like is no longer there from a lot of people that were more involved when it was, I even hate to say more popular, but that's what it feels like, more popular at the time. So anyway, thank you for tuning into this episode. keep an eye out for the next one. It will be coming out soon. And remember, ask questions, investigate, and draw your own conclusions. In other words, don't follow the herd.